Hey guys, hope you like the new intro. It's something I'm trying out for a bit. We'll see if it sticks. But this video, guys, we're going to be talking a bit about how to succeed at Forex, but we're going to be talking about it in a slightly different way. I will be going through a few potential chart examples, but main premise of this video is we're going to talk a bit about your psychology and you as a trader. So I posted out that poll asking how people are doing, and obviously the majority of people are struggling. It's a small sample size, clearly, only 18 votes, but I think in general there's a lot of people that do indeed struggle with Forex. Otherwise, people would just be all millionaires and everyone would be happy and life would continue. But the reason I believe Forex is such a difficult thing for a lot of people is a few different potential scenarios, and we're going to go through a few. A lot of these, though, guys, have to do with you as a person, okay? It has nothing to do with the system. It has nothing to do with Forex. It has nothing to do with anything, because I guarantee you almost everybody watching this video has had a really good trade at least once, meaning you can definitely do that again. The problem is all the trades in between the good ones, probably are crappy because you are never trading at a state of equilibrium. You're never trading at a state of balance. You're always trading at a hyper state of emotion, either excited or depressed, because you're either losing or you're winning. And you don't know how to just be a good rock solid trader, because that's something that you will learn over time, because the success that you have in the Forex market doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. You can have 365 wins in a row, and if you're excited about that, then you're not truly in a state of controlling your emotions. You can be thrilled that you are profitable, but when you get to the charts and trade, you should not care one way or another when you execute a trade, as long as that trade has met your rules. You should not be trading any other way. And if the trade wins or loses, but you met your rules, then you move on to the next, because the only reason you should be trading that system is if you're proven to yourself that that system has an edge. And we're going to be getting into a bit of this, okay? So let's go through a couple of the topics that I want to talk about. Backtesting. Are you even doing it correctly? I'm not so certain that everybody that watches this video can say that they, truly have backtested a lot or even enough for them to understand the edge. A lot of people will go to YouTube and they'll find a strategy, and guess what? They see something, they're like, that's cool, sweet. And they go and backtest for 10 minutes and they're like, oh my word, I just won 2 trades. And then they start implementing it. They haven't figured out the rules for themselves. They haven't traded backtesting. They haven't traded on demo. They haven't traded on live. They haven't put their own emotions at stake with this system. So when they backtest, it's all at just this quick, at a glance, I think I'm good. Boom, we're going live. And there's so much more to backtesting, guys. It's all about many different questions. Here's 2. But have you decided at what point in time you're going to be trading? Because if you're backtesting random things throughout the entire week, none of that price action actually might even apply to you. You might be someone that can only trade a late Asian session. Yet you hear on YouTube that, oh my word, you should be trading the Open in London, and man, this is how the system works. Well, if you can't even trade at that time, like myself, I cannot trade New York Open and London Open. So I don't care what any system says about those times, because the reality is that's not when I can trade. Therefore, I have created my own system that works very well at any point of time in the market. If you follow my specific rules, you can be profitable at any time of the day. But if you can't trade certain times, then you should be backtesting only that time, right? I have some backtesting videos in the course that's going to be coming out, and I only backtest late New York session. I don't backtest London. I don't backtest New York. Why? Because I'm not trading those times. It is up to you as an individual to backtest the times you can trade. It's not up to me to do that work for you. It is up to you to do that for you. And have you looked at the historical patterns and what those times of day typically do? For instance, does anybody here watching this video understand that London session typically likes to go after liquidity sweeps and unmitigated OBs after it has wiped out a previous session high or low? If you don't understand what I just said, you got to be backtesting. Does anybody understand that New York session tends to follow London? It will either create the high or low of the day. Does it happen every day? No. But the reality is, do you understand what is taking place during the times of day that you trade? Does anybody watching this video understand that Asian session loves block flow? So typically you're not going to get the crazy volatile moves that you get during London and New York, but you'll get steady movement of block flow, which is actually really amazing time to trade. Yes, you get lower volume depending on the pair that you're looking at. Like if you're trading EU during Asian, you're only going to get around 50 or 40 pips. Do you even know that? Do you know the average ATR of the pair you're trading? Like all of these questions come into play in terms of the ability for you to catch the RR system that you might want. And if you don't have any answer to any of these questions, you haven't really backtested or done your homework. And in any other profession, if you arrived and you were a mechanic and you didn't understand how bolts work, and you didn't understand how to use a drill, or you didn't understand how to change an oil, you're not going to be a very successful mechanic. So how can you be a successful Forex trader if you haven't truly done the homework of understanding what takes place during the time that you're able to trade? 2, have you even defined your rules? How many of you guys have a system that maybe has certain rules? Like I have certain rules for myself, but I tell my group, it's up to you to create the rules that make sense for your personality. I can give you a guidance, but at the end of the day, we are all unique individuals, meaning you cannot necessarily follow my exact rules. I like to trade 1 to 5 RR trades and then I leave a runner on. Some people love scalping and they like to just, do a 1 to 2, 1 to 1. Some people are swing traders and they love hitting those 1 to 10s and they're not going to partial or go break even. It all depends on what you decide to do. And again, those rules should be defined and tested in your backtesting. If you don't have defined rules, then you need to stop trading completely and go and do that immediately. And then you need to backtest those rules. Because if you're just trading random stuff because someone said so on YouTube, you're never going to be successful. That's a fact. You have to learn to be disciplined and trade the rules that you define based on rules that historically have proven to have an edge. If you do not have an edge, you will not be successful. That is another statistical fact. Let's go to number 3. Do you have an emotional problem? Have you realized that maybe you have trouble controlling your emotions? Are you impatient getting into trades? And do you get into trades too early, or maybe do you even close trades too early out of fear? This means you have emotional problems. That doesn't have to be an insult. That is what every trader deals with. And if you have not come to terms with the fact that maybe you're sitting to yourself listening to this and you're saying, damn, I do have an emotional problem, have you gone to fix it? Have you figured out how to stop? When you are starting to feel your emotions take over your trading, have you learned to walk away from the charts and come back? Again, I talk to my group many times about the fact that we should be trading at an equilibrium. We need to not care. We trade our system systematically, day in, day out, and we trust the edge. We don't flip-flop. We don't change the rules. We don't do things differently than what our emotions, just because our emotions are saying to do something differently. It doesn't matter. Trading is a game of long-term edge. Just like the casino, they love you to be in their gambling long-term. Why? Because yes, there are people that will hit jackpots randomly. That's the cost of business. But if they have you as a blackjack's probably a bad example because it does have an edge that you can get. But let's say you're a roulette player or craps or whatever. If you're sitting there and you end up going on a run for 20 minutes and you walk out of the casino profitable, they don't like that. That's why they feed you drinks and they want you to play, because historically they have the edge. You need to be thinking of trading as the same way. We are not gambling, we are trading our edge. Statistically over time, we should net profitable. But you cannot net profitable if you are creeping the emotions of yourself into your trading system. Let's go to the next one. And this is the last one here for this video. Are you jumping from strategy to strategy? Most times, guys, the strategy is not the problem, it's the trader. And everyone is quick to blame the person teaching or blame the person who told them the strategy. Say, that strategy is stupid. But how many of you are sitting there and have actually given the strategy a full year, actually applied the rules properly, and have actually given it a fair shake without, again, all the three things above? Have you backtested properly? Have you defined your rules? Do you have an emotional problem? Have you dealt with that? And have you given the strategy that you like? Because obviously, if you either come to my channel or someone else's channel, there's something about the way in which I teach or the way in which that strategy is presented that you like. Maybe it fits your personality. Maybe it fits the time of day. Maybe the promise of a good RR system is intriguing to you. But how many people here have invested hundreds of dollars into stuff in their life that's garbage, but then when it comes to investing in a system that actually works and is proven to work, can't actually sit there for an entire year and do it properly? Do it systematically every single day. So in the next part of this video, we're going to go through and we're going to discuss a bit of ways in which you can hopefully fix some of these issues. And we could talk a bit about a system of what you want to do. And we can do some backtesting together. Okay, first things first, what is our RR we want? And for this video, I'm just going to make it a 1 to 5. It's a great RR. Why? Because the break-even rate of this RR is 16.67%, meaning my win rate has to be above 16% in order to be profitable with this RR. Now, a lot of people would say, well, that's crazy. Like, if your win rate's 16 or 20%, you suck at trading. Well, that really depends on your RR. Just like a 1 to 10 RR trader, his win rate only has to be above 9%. Therefore, if he has a 15% win rate and he's trading 1 to 10s, he's actually very profitable long term. Again, your edge long term. We're not trying to be millionaires overnight, people. We are trying to have ability to have freedom with trading long term. Okay? We have to remember the goal. All right? Second, I'm going to be trading late New York session. Okay? Second of all, my session is going to be 3 hours long. And for this video, I'm going to stop at 5RR for the day. For me, typically, I will be trading 10RR for the day. Doesn't always happen, but most days I can achieve 10RR. And that's because I trade a lot of the second time frames. Now, in this video, we're going to be trading the 1 minute charts. So we're not going to have as many setups, but that's okay. And the other rule we're going to use is we're going to be trading my Impact FX SnD Strategy. Okay? Now, I'm not going to be explaining this strategy, and some of this video might be sped up a bit. I'm not going to talk through every trade. There's a lot of this that I go through in the mentorship. I've given you guys pretty much my entire system for free on YouTube already, so if you are uncertain of how to trade this, join the mentorship or take the course. It's going to be out. There is some people, there's quite a few people actually already taking the course, but I will publicly be launching that ideally September 1st. So keep an eye out for that. But in terms of this SnD strategy, I'm going to be looking for the supply and demand of the 15-minute, and I'm going to be trading 1 minute chalk and flips for 1 to 5 RR. So without further ado, let's get into the backtesting. Hey guys, alright, so in this video we're going to be doing some backtesting. So I'm just going to scroll back to a few weeks. So what I basically did, guys, is I put the charts in squish mode, so I can't really see it. And I'm just going to go a few weeks back, and let's just do bar replay mode here. So there we go. What are we in? July 19th. Okay, and I'm just going to open this up. Alright, so we're in London session, and I'm just going to explain what we're going to be now doing basically for this session. So first things first, we're just going to be looking at holistically of structure. So let's zoom out here on the 15-minute and just go through what we see price doing. Okay, so clearly based on this structure, we can understand that we are currently in a higher time frame downtrend. However, you can see the 15-minute is starting the retracement phase for an uptrend. So based on how I view price action, if you have a impulse to the downside, you tend to have mitigation, and then you have another impulse, or you'll have an impulse, mitigation, break a structure, and then price will then change, now doing your new higher high, higher low impulse structure. So in this instance here, I believe that we would be bullish. However, because of this impulse and this new high, I believe we're probably going to go bearish. So what we're going to be doing, guys, in this backtesting session is I have my session indicator on. I'm going to be taking trades on the New York session time because that's when I trade. You guys should be testing and backtesting when you are available at the charts, because we obviously, like, sure, you could backtest and say that you have 70, 80, 90 R in a week, but that's good for your own knowledge of the setups, but it's not necessarily indicative of when you will be able to trade. And maybe you need to be practicing more in the time slot that you believe you'll have available. And ideally, that's predictable. That's something that you've decided that I'm going to take this time of day to trade, and that's the only time I'll trade. Ideally, you want to be creating these routines. We don't want to be trading randomly. But again, that's obviously up to you, but that's how I structure typically my trading days. So I will be trading from 7 a.m., maybe 6:30, but 7 a.m. typically PST to 10 or 11 o'clock. Okay, so about 3 to 4 hour session per day. Okay, so let's go through these candle by candle and let's start to understand what price is doing. So price right now, you guys, is starting to rally off this new low, basically, and this low was sponsored by this high that failed to take out this high. So let's go to the left for a second and let's start to understand what's happening here. So we have internal liquidity that just got swept. So based on that, this is a London London liquidity area from a previous day. Therefore, we could look at this as potentially now saying, okay, London's come up for this liquidity and New York might want to distribute lower to fill this imbalance. Okay, so let's just wait for some setup. So in this scenario, guys, I'm going to be looking at 15-minute POIs as well as 15-minute OFCs. So this would definitely be a supply zone. In this backtesting session, guys, we're going to be doing the 1 minute charts because I believe that's what most of you are doing. However, you obviously can utilize this on the 15-second. And we might take a few second time frame trades. However, this price action, guys, is all the way back in July 19th. I went back in time because I don't remember every single week, right? So we need to be somewhat unbiased about what's happening. However, retesting your skills every week, you guys, during even the previous week that you just maybe had a good week or a bad week or what have you, is great for your psychology and for your learning. All right, let's go candle by candle here. 15 minutes. So 15 minutes. Okay, we already know, guys, that this is New York session, so I'm going to take off this indicator. New York session has already tapped into this POI, so obviously we know it goes down, but I need to go to the 1 minute and see if there's any sort of trade.
5. Pawn 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 5.
Let's just see what takes place, but now it's Asian session, so spreads are way too high, guys, but I'm curious if this goes higher. Okay, doesn't matter. All right, so what are we at, guys? We had 10 RR for this day, 6 RR for this day, 6 RR for this day, 16, 22, 32, 39, 44, 44.3 RR, guys, in this session. This has basically been just over, no, around a week of price action. All right, you guys, so that video is actually a video I did a backtesting in the course. You can get access to that very soon, or join the free Discord channel, and if you really want it, I will send you the course link today. But as you can see, 44R or 40R in a week. And the reality is, guys, it's very systematic. There's ways that we can look to trade. How I teach, you have to follow rules. You have to understand what I'm doing. I teach all of this extensively every single day in the mentorship group. We do, like just last week, we did a 3-hour Zoom call with the group, all included. Most weeks we do a 2.5-hour Zoom call every Sunday. Like, there's so much information given in the mentorship group. There's so much information given in the course. But you have to make changes, guys. You have to make changes to your own self, psychology-wise, how you handle your emotions, following your rules, coming up with a systematic approach to your trading. And so I hope all of you start to make the changes necessary, and that I see you guys successful, because that is the number one reason why I started my group. It's the number one reason why I got onto YouTube, is I started this journey trying to help people learn to trade Forex. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.